Hi guys, good day. OMGNoizx here again today, and I'm gonna do a tutorial on mixing and EQing. Hopefully, if time allows, mastering. I just hope this is the last one I'm gonna do because I did several videos before and have been having problems with that. Okay, let's get started. First off, let me go ahead and play it back a little bit of what we've got going on so you have an idea what we're doing. It's just a song I was making yesterday and just thought I should use the song to make the tutorial rather than making a whole new separate video because that's gonna take a whole lot of time. And I want to say something again. How I do my mixes generally is that I do a little bit of the mixing here in the project, like right here where I made the song. Then I'd export each and every single element of my song. Like for instance, my drums, I'll solo them out and export them. Solo out my, this is a saw, export it. Solo out this bell sound, export. Solo out my sub bass, export. Solo out my drop, for instance. That's how I do everything, making sure of course not to solo the envelopes here, the automation envelopes, because they change the sound. Okay, let's get started. Let me play back so you can hear what we've got going on. Sorry, it's giving me some problems, some audio issues, and I couldn't make with my speakers because I don't know, maybe because of the room I was in, it was producing too much bass. Like the last video I made, same video I was making one yesterday, and there was too much bass you can afford to listen to, so I had to take that off. That's why I'm making this new one right here. Okay, as you might have noticed, I have all my, as you can see, all my elements right here. Most of them of course automation clips. Each and every single element of the whole mix right here, I make sure I have almost each and every important element in a separate mixer track. As you can see here, I have my kick, my hats, my clap, my two claps separately each. Ride, snare, tom, another kick for side chaining. Then I linked all my drums to this track right here because, like I mentioned in my previous tutorials, I like to link all my drum tracks to one new mixer track just so I can control their overall volumes and levels at the same time. So let me begin with the kick. First thing I have going on, sausage fattener. Bam. Sausage fattener to me is like, it increases the brightness and thump, I should say, of my sounds. Like for instance, without sausage fattener, I know you probably can hear this well, but let me go ahead and solo out my kicks so you can hear what I have going on with the kicks without the sausage fattener. Alright, you can hear that because coming. Alright, let me play back so you can hear what I have going on without sausage fattener. With sausage fattener, I have some effects going on, but basically you get what I'm saying. The sausage fattener, it's just like it's to me more similar to something like a sound goodizer here that comes free with FL Studio. so it's somewhat similar. So I can totally use sound goodizer in place of sausage fattener right here. Next I have a PSP vintage warmer, which is a compressor from PSP, of course. Then I just added a little bit of compression, around 5 or 6 dB. It says 6 dB right here. Okay, around 6 dB of compression, just to glue my, as I was layering some two kicks together. I have kick 1 and kick 2, this right here and this right here. I was gluing them together just to make them more thumpy and brighter, because without the compressor right here, they're just gonna sound two different kind of kicks, and one of the kicks is the high end, the other one is the low end. So I didn't need to separate them because I got my samples like that. I just added the compressor to glue them together. Then I have, of course, the parametric EQ. Brought down everything below 30 hertz right here, because it's almost nothing the human ear can hear. So it's just gonna introduce some rumbles to your track. Brought this down. I do this, by the way, I do this with almost all my mixer tracks. I bring down 30 and 16 kilohertz, 30 hertz and 16 kilohertz, somewhere around here. Yeah, 16 kilohertz. So what I did with the kick is I raised around 80 hertz, which produces the bass part of my kicks. Then I raised some of the high ends, just to give it some more thump, because without the high ends it's just gonna sound really low, like something like this. Okay, let me take out. As you can hear, it's really doing a great job. That's basically what I have going on there. Then next I have another sound goodizer, just to reboost give it more brightness again. Then next my hats, nothing special, just a little bit of reverb. Again, because the samples I was using for this particular project were very nice and good, I didn't need to do much of a job with them. Here I have my first clap, nothing on it, because it was very clean. Again, the second clap, I wanted to increase the brightness and increase some of the low ends, because if we take a listen to the clap, it sounds like this. Let me bring out the clap. Okay, sorry. Clap. This is it. This is my clap. So it has some little bit of high end, not high end, like the lower mids, some of the lower mids. So I had to boost them up. First I added a sound goodizer to increase the brightness. Then I added some little bit of reverb. Then, as you can see with my equalizer, took out this frequency where the kick needed, but left this lower end frequencies. If I like, I could, okay, let me take down this around 30 hertz. So it's gonna look something like this. It's still gonna sound almost the same and giving almost the same results, but I took this frequency out because my bass and my kick needed this frequency. So I left this because the sound relies on the sounds, and how you would know if a sound is using such frequencies is by looking at your spectrum right here. There are some orange lines that that come out here in the spectrum in your 3D parametric EQ2. So you gotta watch the lines and see where the lines are shining. That's basically where your sample is hitting. It's hitting that. Okay. Next I have my ride nothing on. Just a clean ride. It comes maybe just so I didn't need effect sound because it comes maybe like at the end of every drum pattern or something like that. Next I have my snare, which I was using for some rolls. That's why I called it roll snare, because I was using it to roll like here. Let me go back to where I have the drums rolling. Yeah. sorry, I'm coming. Let me take out the effects. Snare. That's basically the roll snare. I called it roll snare because it was rolling and it was a snare. Get that? So next thing, I have my toms. Nothing special, just a parametric EQ. Boosted some of the low end, but I was careful not to boost where the kicks were hitting at, because they were hitting at around 80 hertz here. So I was boosting here around 115 hertz, just so I'll give room for the kicks. Then I boosted a little bit here to give some of those higher, those upper mid nice frequency sounds to the tom. If not, it's just gonna sound bassy, like a sub bass or something like that. So this next one is called sidekick. I was using it for sidekick, not literally, not sidekick. I call it's a side chained kick. I basically took out all the, as you okay, I have it selected right now. I took out all the volume from the master right here, so it's not producing any sound. So I didn't need to have any effects on it because it wasn't doing anything. It's doing a whole lot of work, but not in the producing the sound aspect. So I didn't need any effects on it. As you can see down here, this is the kick right here. It's not producing any sound. It's just there for the pumping effect of the side chain, because I didn't want to use one of these kicks I was using up here in my drums. Then I wouldn't have much control over the side chain, because sometimes I would like to have side chain where there's no kick pumping, just to give some, where there's no kicks hitting, I'd like to have some pumping effects down there just to give some nice effects. But if I was using my normal drums kick, I wouldn't be able to do that. So I always make a separate kick for side chain. Then all my drums, this is the all drums. First thing I have going on is flanger, but with the flanger, it's not that it's something that's there permanently. It's an effect I'm controlling with envelopes down here. As you can see, I have too many freaking envelopes down here. So it's one of the effects I'm controlling with the flanger. Let me see if I can get the control, the flanger control. This is it right here. The flanger control for all my drums. So as you can see, there is flanger going on here. But once it comes to this section, there is no flanger. So this is what is controlling the flanger on the drums. Then next, I have a compressor to glue all my drum elements together to make them sound like there was actually a real a real drummer playing the whole instruments together, to make them sound like one. Another very cool instrument you can use for this is let me try to see if I can remember the name. Cytomic the glue or something like that. Cytomic glue, something like that. I don't have it here, so I've forgotten the name actually, but something like that. I'm gonna check the name and I'll probably write the name in the description. So next, I have a parametric EQ. I brought down these frequencies here, which is the mids, some of the mids and some of the upper mids. Why I did this was I needed to give space for my vocals, because most of my vocals, actually almost every vocal, not every of course, but almost all vocals, almost I said, they do shine around this area, from the mid right here to the upper mid. Most of the vocals you would get shine around this area, so I needed to give space for my vocals, just so I wouldn't have everything so crowded together. Next, my sub bass. Sub bass is very, very, very important to me in this kind of music. So first thing I did, sausage fattener, increase the brightness and the thickness. Next thing, a limiter. What this limiter is doing is just for the sidechain effect, controlled by this side kick right here, right? So I have a limiter just controlling the sidechain effect. Next, on the parametric EQ, now what I use for the sub bass is I used massive to make just a pure sine wave. nothing actually but a sine wave. So a sine wave is considered a pure wave because it's almost always shining at only a particular frequency. It's very very clean wave. So all I did here was I boosted only the frequency where the sub bass was shining, which is around 80 hertz. I boosted it here only around 80 hertz because that's the only thing I needed. I didn't need any other frequencies because, okay, let me go back and play my sub bass so you can hear it. See? Now I know you can't really hear the sub bass going on because I'm using my laptop speakers for this, and I'm not using my normal speakers, so you can't even hear. I'm sure you can hear the bass effect, but I will put a link in the description to the song if you want to take a listen on my SoundCloud page. By the way, while you're there, just help me, give me a like, comment, follow maybe. Thanks. All right, then that's with the sub bass. Next I have this super saw, which is basically almost making the whole sound of the song, which is this right here. Okay, I'm coming. Let me take out the effect so you can have a good listen. Okay, that's basically it. All I did, OMGNoizx to get it more brighter again. Reverb, you know, we all know what reverb does. Parametric EQ, of course. Brought down all the low ends and some of the lower mids just to give room for those other elements I've been working on, which have almost been completely on this other side. So I needed to begin working on this side of the mix. Plus, this is a saw wave, so it doesn't really need the lower frequencies, so I took them out. And again, I took out this frequency right here because my saw wave wasn't needed this frequency, and again I needed to give room for my vocals. Now if I play back, you'd see with those orange lines coming out, you'll see that it doesn't really rely on this frequency right here. Basically, the more orange in color the line and the more thicker the lines, the more rely on that frequency the sound is. So let me play back so you can see what I'm talking about. So as you can see, my sound is less reliant on this frequency right here compared to this frequency and some of this frequency. Again, see what I'm talking about? So I needed to boost those, and I took out some of this because I didn't really need them that much. Next I have my bell sounds, which they kick in from around here. Let me solo them out so you can hear what I'm talking about, what the bells sound like together with the drums. Actually, they sound more like a pluck, but I just call them bells. Maybe, I don't know why. So those are the bells or the pluckers. I say, I don't care. Those are the sound. That's what the sound is doing. The only thing I have going on, let me see, only things, sausage fattener. Of course, you might say I like sausage fattener, but it makes things very very nice. It makes things sound nice. So sausage fattener. Actually, this isn't even supposed to be there. I know I'm doing a wow filter. Then a reverb, almost about halfway up. A limiter, again for the side chaining effect. I have a parametric EQ, of course. Took out the high ends and the low ends because this sound was only needing my mids and some of my lower mids, a little bit of the bass. As you can see, again, let me play back so you can see with the spectrum analyzer, just see what I'm talking about. But again, you have to, like it said, you have to do everything with your ears, not with your eyes. That's why actually some equalizers don't even have the spectrum analyzer with them, but you get what I'm talking about. You have to do everything with your ears. Just take a nice listen and hear what suits you, because you are the one making your music. You are the only one who knows what you want, so you have to listen to by yourself and make everything as nice as you can. Next, I have this triangle wave which begins from here in the drop. It kicks in the drop. Let me play it back so you can hear what I'm talking about once more. As you can hear alone, it sounds very crappy, so I had to put some effects. Sausage fattener again, sound goodizer after sausage fattener to make everything, so this sound is gonna sound freaking clear, because all these effects I have going on are just too freaking much. Then I have a big crusher from CMT big crusher, yeah, just crushing the sound a little bit, giving it some nice effects, because I wanted to use, first I used Homicide, then I found that I have always noticed that Homicide, it uses much of my CPU power. So, but something I do to reduce the work it does is I insert it in one of the send tracks and I send it to that send track. Sometimes when I do that, it reduces the usage. But anyways, that kind of distortion I needed, this CMT bit crusher right here could do for me, so I didn't need to waste my time doing all that nonsense. Next, I have a flanger again, and this time the flanger is here for fruity flangers, right? Fruity flangers. It's a flanger also. What is it's here for? Also, it's controlling the, what is it called? It's controlled down here by these envelopes down here, by one of these automation envelopes. So it doesn't come all the time. Sorry about that. Yeah, like I said, the flanger doesn't come all the time. It comes and goes, controlled by these envelopes down here. So you get what the flanger does, of course. Next, I have a reverb around 80%. Then I have a parametric EQ, of course. Brought down these frequencies, and as you can see, this parametric EQ here almost looks somewhat alike like the one I have on my, let me see, is it the Super Saw? Shit, I messed up everything. Alright, it looks somewhat alike, somewhat like this, but again I took down the high ends because I didn't want to make much rumble, and plus my sound didn't need that frequency. Okay, that's a triangle. Again, as you can see from here, like here in this, on the Super Saw, I have another parametric EQ. Also on my all drums here, you can see I have another parametric EQ at the end. And what this parametric EQ basically does is that it controls the sweep in and sweep out effects. Like it's I have a low pass filter on. Okay, for instance, let me show you with this Super Saw right here. I have a low pass, right? There is a low pass filter on it. So what the low pass filter does is that it controls the sweeping effect, that all those nice effects you hear going on in the song. This is one of those things that controls them. I have envelopes down here controlling that. So let me show you what I mean. Let me play back. So that's basically what that does. Next, I have, okay, I'm done with the triangle, right? I messed this up, really. Okay, no problem, I'm not gonna save anyways. Next, I have this bitmap from, it's just a VST from, it comes together with Fruity Loops. Here it's called, here is it, where is it? Bitmap. This is it right here, and generally I use it for mostly only effects. Like if you can take a listen here, I have it going on only this one time in the whole song. This is the only time it shows. So when let me solo it out. So that's almost the only time it comes in the whole song. Then next I have this Reese bass I made with Massive. Okay, I'm not gonna call it a bass because it's actually not a bass. I took out all the sub frequencies, so it's only the mids and the high frequencies. I have a reverb going on, just a little touch of reverb, and a parametric EQ. Took out these frequencies, boosted this area a little bit because the sound was relying on this area. But you could say I boosted this frequency for my vocals. I left this frequency out for my vocals. Yeah, I know, but in that part of the song, in the drop part of the song, I didn't have much vocals going on, so I could boost here if I wanted, because it's only one of them that's using the frequency at a time, so there's no harm in doing that, if you get what I'm saying. Next I have this shuffle bass. I call it a shuffle bass, but it's actually okay. Let me solo the bass so you can hear how it sounds like, and I'm gonna solo out the shuffle bass so you can hear how it sounds like too. Sorry, my CPU is really down. And next I have the shuffle sound I was talking about. Alright, you won't be able to hear that nicely, so let me just show off everything and leave here. Then the voice on the vocals, I used first sound goodizer, second delay. Also I was controlling the delay with, okay, actually this is the envelope, this right here, down here, this envelope right here, this is the one controlling the delay. And as you can see, these are my vocals up. I chopped them into pieces. Maybe I'll do a tutorial later on how to chop vocal samples. So I just chopped them into pieces just to make some nice effects. Let's take a listen here. So as you can see, when it kicks in here on the delay goes on. Let me take it off so you can hear the difference. Alright, that's basically it. Then next I have a reverb again, just a little touch. Parametric EQ, as you can see, I boosted this frequency I was talking about earlier on, which is almost around 1800 to 2000 hertz. I boosted that because my vocals were relying on that. Then next I have this other parametric EQ, which does again that sweeping effect. I'm controlling down here with one of these envelopes down here. Okay, let me show you guys a very cool trick I used in this song. As you can hear from in this part of the song, let me play back so you can hear. I don't know if you can hear that well, but the tempo goes down. Okay, have a look here at my tempo. You're gonna see the difference. The tempo goes down from 140, which I was working on, to around, I halved it to 70, so it went down from 140 to 70. Just take a listen and watch the tempo here as it moves. How I did that was, okay, you might ask how I did that. First, I left it at 140 because I was working on 140, right? It was at 140. I right clicked, create automation clip. That's the first stage. This is my automation clip right here. Then I wanted to begin at 140, right? I wanted to go down to, okay, for this example purpose, let me show you. If I wanted to go up to 200, let's say, for example. Okay, let me take it to, say, 300 even. I want to take it to 300 tempo, right? It's at 300 right now, so I'm gonna right click again and say copy value, then come here on the automation clip, on the last dot here, right click on it and paste the value. So what I did there, right click here on this dot right here, right click and paste value. So now when I play back, let me mute this out so you can hear what it does now. If you look up here, you can see the tempo. You can visually see the tempo moving. So that's basically how I did that. I guess that's all with this part of the tutorial. Like I said, I usually do some of the mixing here, and I would export each and every element as a WAV file, making sure it's the highest quality possible. Export everything and import up to and bring them up in a new project. In this case, this is my new project right here. Let me open it. And some very nice advice, or let me see something. I think if you have your mixes very nice and good, if they sound very clear and nice, there is little you have to do in the mastering stage. Once everything is clear in the mixing stage, all you have to do in the mastering stage is, like for me, what I do, most of the work I do in the mastering stage is just compression and increasing volume, just as simple as that. So you just gotta take your time and make your mixes right. If your mixes are right, there's a little, like I said again, there's little work you gotta do in the mastering stage. So just take the time and do your mixes right. As you can see, I pulled up each and every element of my track, like I was making in the other track. I pulled each one up here as a WAV file. I pulled it up in a new project. Here they are. I have my drums, the bell sounds, the super saw. I call it super saw, right? And the triangle sound, I call it a triangle also. It's actually a square, saw wave 2. Then with I think a saw with a square, something like that. Then I have my sub bass, then the drop, which is the raise and the other shuffle sound, I call them. Then my vocals. So I linked again everything to a separate mixer track. First I have my drums. Very simple, as that. Let me play them back so you can hear how they sound. Let me take out the effects I added here so you can hear the difference. Alright, now let me bring back the effects. As you can hear, everything sounds a whole lot louder and clearer. First thing I did, sound goodizer. Second thing, a parametric EQ again. I boosted up this frequency just a little bit, just to give it some little more bass, and this other frequency again just a little bit again, this frequency, because I wanted to make the high end of my kicks and my toms and some of my claps, I wanted to make them more clearer again. Next I have the bells. Let me take out the effects so you can hear how they sound like. This is how they sound like without the effects. I doubt if you can even hear that nicely. Let me bring them back. First thing, okay, let me show you a very cool trick. I do this with almost all my mixes. Let's say this Maximus wasn't here. Let me take it out. Take out this other effects. This is how my bell sounds like without the effects. That pluck sound. So silent. But notice, I'm just gonna pull off Maximus. Let me just pull up Maximus if I can find that. I didn't do anything to Maximus. Let me take it out. What it does is, I don't know how it does it, but anytime I just pull up Maximus without touching anything, without doing anything, it makes most of my sounds that use mid to high frequencies, it makes them a whole lot clearer. But I don't do that on the lower frequency, because it makes everything sound scrappy. But most of my instruments or track elements that use the higher frequencies, I do that because it makes everything just sound clear. I don't know why. Next, the parametric EQ. Took out the lows again and the highs again. Then on my sound godizer, parametric EQ. This is almost what I did in the EQ in the other video, in the other part of the song, the other project. So it's just like I'm just repeating what I did again, just to make sure I've gotten rid of all those frequencies I didn't need. Then on the triangle, I added Maximus again without doing anything, and parametric EQ. Boosted these frequencies a little bit and took this out a little bit. Okay, I didn't even boost anything. I just took this out a little bit because it didn't need those frequencies, and I needed to leave those for my vocals. Then the sub bass sound godizer again, and again, since my sub bass only uses around the 80 hertz range, voila, I just took out everything outside the 80 hertz range. Next, those bass sounds and those drop sounds, I don't know what they're called actually. Maximus again without doing anything. Reverb, just a little bit, a little touch of reverb, and parametric EQ again. Took out these frequencies, and this frequency actually I can even take the frequency from here, from around 10,000 hertz, just 10 kilohertz, and I boosted this a little bit because they were shining around that area. So that's what I have going on with this. Then next, the vocals, nothing special, just a parametric EQ. Again, boosted that frequency that the vocals were shining at, took out most of the other frequencies. So now when we take a listen at my song I have all together, sounds like this. So that's basically it, and I took out some of the sounds I didn't need. This was actually a problem I got when exporting the sound. As you can see, this is all the same sound. It's just a reverse snare, so I had to take it out. If not, it's gonna sound really really loud. So I took it out and left it only this one, I guess, yeah, only here in this sound right here, which is the super saw. It was only going on here. I took it out from this other sounds. So that's almost everything. That's everything I did. Okay guys, thank you for watching. People from the internet, thank you very very much. I really appreciate taking your time and making the efforts to watch my tutorials. Please 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 be nice and kind, especially if I've helped you, and even if I haven't helped you, just help a guy out. Just please 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 check out my SoundCloud page, do whatever there, just like, comment. You can subscribe also to my YouTube channel, rate, comment, like, subscribe, visit my Facebook page, whatever you like to do, just do what you do best. Thank you very very much. All of you are nice people, and I too learn a whole lot of things from you guys. So I can say we are tied now. Thank you very very much again. I'm out. Peace.